What's up, guys? Like I promised, Stryker's back in the shop. We're going to be working on it today. And first thing on the list is to get it street legal so we can get a plate on this thing. One of the first things we need to do is install a street legal kit from WD Electronics. Ugh. Here it is. Comes in a fancy little box. They offer these things for a lot of the different side-by-sides. The Polarises, the Kawasaki's, the Yamaha, and the Can-Am. So let's open this thing up. Let's see what's inside. Whoa. Alright, so we did get the one with the hazard add-on because we are going full street legal with this thing. Let's see what's in the box. Turn signal switchy guy. This is your control box that goes under the dash, under the center of the dash. We got the hazard rocker for the dash. We got a horn and brackets, horn button, and some more miscellaneous stuffs. All the wiring to make it work. This all goes with the tail lights. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I do know what these are, but we'll get into that later. A box of zip ties, brackets for that guy, a license plate with lights, so that's cool. Another little guy, and the jewel of this entire kit are those lights right there that make it fit this Can-Am and set this thing apart from any other kit on like Amazon or anything like that. Are these lights right here. Oh, look at these. So these guys right here go into the factory location right there. So it's going to really fit in. And I do know that this little control box allows you to use the stock taillights and turn them into blinkers. And this, you need this basically. So you need the whole kit. You can't just get the lights. So I'm really excited about this. So let's go ahead and start with the constructions and see what we got to do to put this thing in. Even right here on the constructions it says please read all the constructions before you start. It's about an hour to 2 hours install. Doesn't look too bad. You got to take the front end apart, some of the front end apart. And then you got to take the dash out. Take all this off, take the nose off. The radiator and stuff is behind all this. Pretty easy to do. Oh, this is just to put the lights in. It says it's an hour to 2 hours to put the lights in. Interesting. Challenge accepted. Alright, let's get this thing apart. The benefit is because race car, we don't have half these panels that are in the inside of this thing. So it should be easy peasy just to knock this front end right off. So we're going to go ahead and get this wing off of here, pull this piece of plastic, and we'll just pull the nose off. No problem. First, we got to get that bag wang off of there. So that's what we do now. And as you can see, none of this is Can-Am. These control arms are. The chassis, we built the whole chassis in-house at a different facility. So we chopped the nose off where that winch plate goes, where the factory bumper and stuff mounts to, so that we can mount the wing. We made these wing plates. It's really the only difference in the nose setup. So we only have 2 screws here. We pull the nose piece off, which is the Zeus in the middle, and then this whole front assembly will come off pretty easily. And then after you unclip some clips and make sure the harness is off of the nose, this harness Christmas trees into the nose, then you can take the nose off. And then once she's on the bench, we need to take this guy out, which means we have to take off this support, and basically you got to take the whole headlight out. Then you can pull this guy out, put a new one in, and put the headlight back on. So these, I believe, are all 8mm. So we just got to go get an 8. All right, got an 8. We're just going to start taking all these out because I know they all need to come out. So then this bracket comes out. Now we got to get this out, so we have to take. I need an extension. Extension acquired. Ta-da. So now I can squeak this guy out of here. And this whole guy, come on. And this guy comes out and a blinker goes in. So after the lights are installed, you got to find this guy. So 4-pin with the 2 little bullets on there. Then you got to take the rest of the front of the car off so that you can run the wires through it. So that's what we do now. And because we can never keep any of these panels to stay closed on the Can-Am, if you have one, trust me, you already know what I'm talking about. You got to put a thumb screw in this one to keep this guy down. Right, so then this opens up, and then in here I had to use a bolt and a bungee and another bolt down there just to keep this door closed, because this door didn't want to stay closed either. So you just pop the bungee off, and now this opens. Alright, there you go. So what we have in here is this is the PDM module for the AIM, for the dash, because this has an aftermarket dash in it and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm going to unbolt this because underneath this I'll have room to put the module. We don't have the plastic tray in here that they want you to put it on because we have a big fuel cell in here, but I do have room under this. So I will go ahead and get all this pulled off. I'm going to go ahead and get this panel pulled off, and you can see what it looks like under there. Now with all the panels and doors off, you can see that I made this panel removable. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have to stuff that blinker module right here and then run some wires up underneath. So I will zip tie it and Velcro it to the top of the fuel cell. That is our fuel cell in there, and you can see our fire suppression system just in case. And all that fun jazz. So let's get that module in here and plugged in. Well, I just looked for some Velcro, and apparently I don't have any or enough left, so that kind of sucks. So we will be Velcroing this to the top of this fuel cell, and we will be putting this guy in here just like so. And she'll go right there. This goes to the blinkers and the hazard switch up front, so we know that that's got to go that way. This guy right here will get plugged in because this has to go to the front lights, which are now blinkers, which plugs into this guy right here. Ta-da! Alright, now we'll just feed these all the way up. They are labeled, pretty neat. Driver side. And we're going to go ahead and get this wired. Now we have a pass-through up here because the factory harness goes through right down there. I don't know if you can see it, but that's how the four-wheel drive stuff gets to the front. So we're going to go down through that hole, so I don't have to take the rest of this nose off. And you should be able to reach up in here somewhere and pull the harness through the firewall in the factory location. And then we'll just zip tie it up to this factory harness. split it off all the way up here. Alright, so now we just split it. This says driver's side is red. Alright, so now we'll get some zip ties out. Clean all this up. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is pull this door off. Just to get us a little bit more room. As you can see, the doors come off that easy. Just stick it over here with the rest of the stuff. And we are going to be running a horn. Now, here's where it's going to get fun. Horn gets its power and its ground from the WD box. Here's the button to make the horn go boop boop. Here's the leads that go to the horn. Here's our problem. We have one more spot here, and when I did the dash, we removed all of the rocker switches. And I don't want this button here. I want it right here. So I'm going to build a plate just like this guy with a little push button on here. But then that push button is going to be wired into this so that we can you know, have the horn on the steering wheel. So this right here with this rocker is going to be modified for our situation. You would just stick it in the rocker hole in the front and have a horn. I don't have that luxury, so we are going to run this and plug this into the WD box, run this to the horn up the front, but I will be cutting this off in the future. I'm going to leave it on there now because next I have to make a button for the steering wheel and stuff. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to just run this up, plug that in. So we're going to do the same thing as we did with the blinkers. We're going to go all the way down through the firewall, out to the front, and plug this into the box. So what we got to do now is feed. All the way down. Make sure, I get on the other side of that guy, into the firewall panel that's up there. I don't know if you can see that, but come on guys. And then we just gotta go retrieve it from the other side. Alright, so because this is not a stock chassis, we don't have a lot of bolt holes anymore. So I did find this one right here on the factory front bumper piece. So we're wired up, and we are ready to go on to the next thing. Now that the horn is installed and everything else in the front, we gotta move to the back. You want to use this this little guy with the white wire. This is your passenger light, tail light, in-betweener connector. So we're gonna put this in between, then you route the white cable over to the driver's side tail light. Okay, so this one's super easy. If you can super easy get this connector off of this tail light. So this guy just plugs into this guy. This guy plugs back into this guy. Right? And you just run this guy all the way over to the driver's side. Now we don't have really much to go on, so we're just gonna clean it up and zip it in. Oops. Zip it up to this frame for now. Eventually we'll be taking this one back apart, and when we do, we'll clean all the wiring right up. But for now, we're just gonna do this. Throw some zip ties in that and plug it into this side when we get this connector in. And then on the driver's side, you take this triple plug here, you unplug the taillight, you plug the 3-prong into this guy, and this back into your taillight. And now you're left with 3 pigtails over here, or 3 bullets, which go to your cable that's going to go all the way up to your WD box. And I'm pretty 100% sure this is for your license plate light, but that's coming later. So now, you just connect everybody up here. There we go. Now we just got to get a bunch of zip ties and clean this all up. Run this up to the center console. Unlike the factory one, we don't have all the stock plastics to pull up, you'll have to pull up all your stock plastics to run it through there. Ours runs across the top and up into the dash, very easy. So that's what we're going to do now. Once you get it ran all the way up, I'm just going to loop it around because we give you a lot of extra, which is good depending on your application and what you have in the way. I'm going to go ahead and just zip tie it up to this rail right here for now. Like I said, this car will come back apart and then it'll get really nicely wired. She's still in the prototype phase. So now you got this 3-pinner. There's only one 3-pinner, it's this guy. You'll have a lot more room in the factory one, but there you go. You plug the 2-horn in, which is this one. Power left, and something else. Let's go figure it out. Yes, we have this cable left. If you are running the stock dash, there is indicators in the stock dash. You have to take this interconnect apart for the dash, and you'll plug those two in, so when you have your turn signals on, you will have lights on your stock dash. We do not have the stock dash. I am not going to use these. I will figure something else out in the future. Actually, I believe this AIM dash does, so I'll have to go in there and figure out which one of these is the light, because this is all from the dash and stuff. So that's for another video. So if you have the stock dash, you have to wire this, but we don't. So all we have left is the hazards button, so hazard on, hazard off, and the actual multifunction switch. These go into the pigtail that hang off the back. This guy right here. Oh, it's already up here. This plugs into your blinkers. But before you do that, you have to plug your hazard harness in, and then your blinkers into your hazard harness, so that the hazard button will override your multifunction switch. So this would go in the dash again also, but it's probably going to end up living in here along with the horn button for now, until I can figure out the steering wheel, making a steering wheel button. And then this guy right here, we'll just unplug this again. Actually, I'm going to change my mind. I think I'm going to put this hazard switch in this one spot we do have available, and then the horn can go on the steering wheel, and then I don't have to worry about making anybody else. So I'll just put you there, and you still reach this guy, and this harness will come up through the dash right here. Yep, right there. And you plug into you, and you plug into you. Okay, now everybody, now we just should need power. This is your main power harness. This guy goes, there's a plug right here in your factory harness. It's got a little cap on it, which I did not cut this up, so it's still here. This guy plugs into here. Verify the red and the red and the black and the black. And we just plug this guy into your box here. And we are good to go. And then we'll test this out. Alright, all I gotta do is zip tie this stuff up, clean it up a little bit, get these panels back on, and we'll give her a test. I almost forgot about the indicator. Now that we got our turn signal indicator switchy multi-function switch guy in, one last thing to do. Horn button. I told you I wanted to make a horn button ring with a horn button down here. Just got word from the boss that we will never use the push to talk, so we could use this as a horn button. So I went and found the accessories for the steering wheel. This is the push to talk. It is already 2-wire. So I'm just going to cut this guy off. We're going to sacrifice this cable and then plug this 2-wire into the horn guy right here and make the horn work. But before we go and do all that, let's test this sucker out and see if she works. Main power. Ignition switch. And ooh. Ah. Whoa. And then off. On hazards. Pretty sick. Looks freaking awesome. Taillights are not quite as super cool and trailing, but hey, they work. And last but not least, the horn. I already cut the switch off of that guy. I cut the radio end off of this guy. Now it's a shielded pair. So there's a single up the middle, and then this would be like a grounder, the shield. I am going to split them apart. This should work. There should be no like current through here. It's just turns a little relay boop boop honk thing. So let's connect these two guys together and push the button on the steering wheel and see what happens. Alright, here goes the test. We'll just wrap these guys together to make sure this works. In theory, it should totally work. I don't know why it wouldn't. Alright. Power is still on. Hit the PTT button on the steering wheel and did we plug it in? Alright, so I ohmed this guy out and it wouldn't, the button wouldn't make it ohm out, so there must have been something wrong wired in it. I'm not 100% sure, but I just went all the way back to the connector. We threw some wire on there, went up to the horn wire up here, and now we have, we're powered on. Now we have sweet. There she is, all put back together, ready to show. We have an event this evening, so she's all ready to go. But don't worry, we'll be right back because I still have to build wheel wells for this thing. Fenders, I have to build wheel fenders to make it street legal. You know, DMV things. Do they have to stay on there? I don't know. Do I have to have them on there for the DMV? Yes. So that'll be the next thing. But anyway, thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye.